Om Shri Sai Ram. New chapter, the force and laws of motion. In the previous class, we have studied about motion. What do you mean by motion? Now this is a ball. Tell me, now is it moving? No, because it is in state of rest. When we say it is moving, now its position is changing with respect to time. So now it is moving. What is motion? If is said to be in motion, or object is said to be in motion, the position of the object, it changes with the time, means it is a motion. So what do you mean by motion? Object is said to be in motion means its position changes with respect to time. So it is motion. For example, just look at the position of this is the equilibrium position. When it moves from one position to another position means its position changes with respect to time, with the time. The time is required to move from this position to this. So this is motion. Force and laws of motion. What do you mean by force? This is a ball. Now it is in motion. Can we say it is in a motion? No. Why? Because it is in state of rest. If I push the ball, now it's moving. Why it's moving? Because the force is applied to the body. The pushing means it's a force. Okay. If I pull the ball to my side, now ball also moving. So it is also a motion. For the motion or movement of body, it requires force. Can we say the push or pull, which indicates motion of an object? Yes, it indicates, it's not definition. So what we say, an object is said to be in motion if its position changes with time with the fixed frame of reference, means it's a motion. A push or pull of an object indicates a force. So it indicates a force. The push or pull on an object indicates a force. In earlier days, we believe that if a body is moving or body is in motion means it requires a minimum force to act on it. It requires force. It means it is moving means it is moving in a one position means it requires force. It is the earlier belief. So for a moving a object, why it moves? Because it requires force to move that object. That is the earlier days belief. But Galileo, he opposed that theory. What he says, he realized that no force was required to keep a body moving. There is no need of force to move a body. If it is a moving, it moves on the same path. It does not require any force. Why that force is required? Force is required only to start or stop or accelerate the speed. It does not require any force for the motion of object. This is given by Galileo. What he says? He opposed that olden theory. He realized that no force was required to keep a body moving. A force was needed only to stop or start or accelerate the body. That is very important. What is the earlier belief? The force is required, always required to motion of the object. It does not require. It requires only to stop or start the motion. So this is the idea is given by Galileo. Now tell me, what is force? The push or pull which indicates force. Okay. Can I give that definition to that? No. The force means very simple. It is a physical quantity. What is force? Force means it is a physical quantity that changes state of rest of a body. Very simple definition. What is force? Force means it is a physical quantity that changes state of rest. That changes state of rest means now it is in rest. This is the state of rest. It changes if force is applied to this body. The force is applied to this body. It changes the state of rest because it moving. Yes, that is force. Just look at this. Now the state of rest, the ball is in state of rest. If force is applied to this body, the object is, that body or of an object is moving. Why? Because of the force. So force is a physical quantity that changes state of rest of a body, or that changes the velocity of the body. It changes the velocity also. It increases the speed. It increases the velocity. Now this is moving. If I give more force to this, the force, because of that force, velocity of that ball which will increase. So what is force? Force is a physical quantity that changes the state of rest of a body and it changes the velocity of a body. This is force. Now the pushing, hitting, then pulling of objects are always bringing object in motion. Now very important concept is effects of force. What are the effects of force? Effects of force. What is effects of force means? When force is applied to an object, what are the effects? If force is applied to an object, what are the effects taken place? The first effect is, if a force is applied to an object, the object changes the velocity. It changes the velocity. The velocity must be changed. Why? Because force is applied. Then changes the direction. If body is moving in the direction, if the force is applied opposite to this, it changes the direction. Now body is moving in this direction. If force is applied opposite to this, the body changes its direction to another position. So this is because of force. So force, what are the effects? One is changes the velocity of an object. Yes, it changes the velocity. Second one is changes the direction. It changes the direction. Third one is changes the shape of an object. Now this is a ice cream cup. If I apply force to this, now shape is, it is shapeless. It becomes shapeless. Why? Because of force. So force which changes the shape, it changes the direction, it changes the velocity of an object. These are the effects of force. The force which changes the velocity of an object. It changes the velocity of an object. Why it changes the velocity of an object? To change the velocity of a body or an object, an external force is required. To increase or decrease the velocity of an object because of that external force. What do you mean by external force? External force means it is a resultant. It is a force is acting, different force that acting on the object. Now this is a object. External force means if I move the ball, means the force is acting on this ball, this object. It moves the ball because of that force. That is external force. Now the external force is given by hand, the muscle force. This is the muscular force. For the changing of velocity, it requires external force. What do you mean by external force? The external force means the force which acts on the object. The different force which acts on the object is called external force. Or we say, the change the velocity of a body, an external force is needed. What do you mean by external force? External force is the resultant of different forces acting on the object. The different forces which are acting on the object, that force, the acting force is called external force. Now this duster, it is in the rest. It is in rest now, state of rest. When it moves because of the force is applied. Force is applied. This is now external force. Which force? This muscular force The force is given by me. That muscular force is external force. The force acting on this, the force is acting on this duster is external force. So external force that moves that increase the velocity of an object. Then force means there are two types of force. This is very important. The first type is contact force. There are two types of force. One is contact force and the second one is action of a distance force. There are two types of force. One is contact force and second type is action of a distance force. What is first one is contact force. One example is just it is a floor. Now it is not a blackboard. Now it is a floor. If I throw or push the ball to this position to or this part to this part, it moves. It moves like this. At one instant it stops. At one instant it stops. Why it stops? Because of your answer is because of friction. Because of friction. What is friction? Yeah, it is a contact force. What do you mean by friction? Friction means the two bodies are in contact each other. The force acting between them, that force is called contact force. It stops because of the friction. If you throw a ball in a glass surface, it moves longer distance. Why? If throw a ball in a mud surface, it moves shorter distance. What is the reason? Because of the friction. The friction is highest in mud surface. The friction is lesser in the glass surface. So friction force which stops the ball, it is also a force. That force is contact force. So contact, the name refers, the contact means two objects in contact each other. So when two bodies are contact with each other, then the force acting between them. Now these are the two objects. One is ball and another one is floor. They are contact each other. There is a force in between them. That force is called contact force. Very simple. What do you mean by contact force? If two objects are contact each other, the force acting between them is called contact force. For example, contact force. Example for contact force is frictional force is example for contact force. Another type of force is action of a distance force. Action of a distance force. If I throw a chalk to upward, it comes down. Why? If I throw it, it comes down. What is the reason? Because of gravitation. Your answer is because of gravitation. The gravitation force is example for action of a distance force. Two bodies they are not contact each other. They are not contact. There is a gravitational force and this chalk, there is any contact between them? No. But there is a force. There is a force. That is gravitational force. That is called action of a distance force. Our definition is when two bodies apply force on each other without being in contact. Without being in contact. There is no contact between two forces. Then it is action at a distance force. So opposite of this, contact means two objects are contact each other. Action of a distance force means the two forces are not contact each other, but there is a force, but there is no contact between them. That is called action of a distance force. Which one is example for action of a distance force? Is gravitational force is example for action of a distance force. Now next topic is balanced and unbalanced force. Before that, what is balanced and unbalanced force? One example. We all seen that the tug of war match. If tug of war match, this is a equilibrium position. This is the equilibrium position. Then this is a rope. In rope, there is a mark for equilibrium position and another mark for team A, another mark for team B. This is team A and team B. Yes. What is the position? This position is a equilibrium position. This is the mark for team A. If they pull the rope here, then the team A is the winner. If they pull the rope in this position, then they are the winners. Okay. If two teams, they are pulling the rope in a tug of war match. If the two teams, they apply same amount of force, then what it results? Come to my point. Team A and team B, both the teams, they pull the rope together. If the force applied by the team A, it is equal to force applied by the team B, both are equal, then what it results? This position of the rope, it is in equilibrium. It changes or it remains same. It remains same. Why? Because the force applied by the team A, it is equal to force applied by the team B. Their equal amount of force is applied. So this position of the rope remains same. That is example for balanced force. This is an example for balanced force. Now tell me, what do you mean by balanced force? If two or more forces acting on a object, two or more, here it is two forces acting on a object. If two or more forces which acting on a object, keep the object in equilibrium position. Keep the object in equilibrium position means it is a balanced force. Very simple. What is balanced force? If two or more forces acting on a object, acting on a same object, be careful. Two or more forces acting on a same object, keep the object in equilibrium position. Keep the object in equilibrium position means it is a balanced force. Now this is example for balanced force. Now tell me, what is unbalanced force? If team A, which applies more force than team B, what it results? Team A, which applies more power or more force than team B, what it results? Team A wins, because that position of the object, that position of the rope which comes to here, which comes to this portion. Why? Because team A applies more energy, more power, more force. So team A is the winner. Now two forces are equal. Now the object in equilibrium position, it remains the equilibrium position? No. So it is a unbalanced force. So it is a example for unbalanced. Yes, what is the definition of unbalanced force now? If two or more, same definition, if two or more forces acting on a same object, it does not keep the object in equilibrium position means it is a unbalanced force. It does not keep the object in equilibrium position, then it is unbalanced. It keeps the object in equilibrium position means it is balanced. Two or more forces acting on the same object, keep the object in the same equilibrium position means it is a balanced. Unbalanced means it does not keep the object in equilibrium position means it is unbalanced. Or another definition for unbalanced is unbalanced force acting on an object change its speed or direction of motion or both. It is also a unbalanced force. It is given in your textbook. So today's topics we have studied about force, motion, force, then different types of force, effects of force, and balanced and unbalanced force. These are the today's topic. Now write down some questions. What do you mean by force? First question is, what do you mean by force? Second question, write the effects of force. Write the effects of force. What is external force? Fourth question, differentiate between contact force and action of a distance force. Contact force and action at a distance force. Another question, Differentiate between balanced and unbalanced force. Differentiate between balanced and unbalanced force. Sai Ram.